And I would like to welcome everybody back to another episode of Amp Life Talk Radio. I'm so appreciative of all of you that tune in, especially on the live show and on Facebook. Tonight, we have some special guests on the show. I think some of you guys probably saw some of the little clips that I was putting up. It's interesting how I come across people and meet different people to have on the show. I always find it very fascinating, whether I meet them through another amputee or just scrolling through Facebook and seeing the different things that are out there. And always trying to bring you interesting people that are out there living with limb loss and doing amazing things. I think these two people here are definitely people that I am so happy that I got to know, and I'm going to get to know them, and I'm going to get to introduce them to you guys here on the show. I have on the phone with me Joel, and I have Mason on the phone with me tonight. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Mason.
Hi, everyone.
So first off, I wanted to kind of let everybody know, I came across a clip of you, Mason. I saw something that somebody had posted, and it was about the event that I think you just did. And I think, Joel, are you the host of that event?
Yes, my husband and I and our gym here in Carbondale, Colorado, put on this event that Mason was a part of, that you saw this clip of, that was so amazing.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So this was our first ever. It was called the Crown Mountain Strongman Championship. We here in the mountains own a strongman gym, bodybuilding gym, and have been asked for a number of years to put on an event. And we finally, after 10 years, decided something that meant so much to us was running able-bodied strongman alongside disabled strongman. And so we did it. We did it at this amazing park here in the mountains. And we had some incredible athletes, and we did kind of our first ever strongman, able-bodied and disabled strongman event. And we will continue to do it from here on out for a long time.
How many people did you have show up?
We had 36 competitors.
Wow.
That's pretty good for a first event.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. Well, I mean, how many strongmen are there in the world? I mean, there's not that many, so having 36.
No, but we did World's Strongest Man 4 times over, Brian Shaw, be at our event, so that was very special. And we had Casey Mitchell, who you probably know, that one-leg monster, come and be with us and be a guest judge and a motivational speaker, and he's an amazing power lifter and soon to be strongman. We'll see.
And what are some of the things that they do when they're at the competition?
So we had, and everything was adaptable, Mason, as you know, and you can speak for, but we had a medley event, which was running sandbags and sled poles, and everything was adapted to our disabled athletes. We had our Atlas stones, and we had our deadlift, we had our presses, we had our Hercules hold, which was a crazy event. My husband made every piece of equipment for this event. So he did even our seated athlete chair, which was created by him. So hopefully we'll see it out there somewhere. But the Hercules hold was quite inspirational and a little dangerous. So we're making some changes to that. Mm-hmm. But if you go online, you can see all of the different events that we held. So there were 5 main events.
And where can people go online to find this?
CrownMountainStrongman.com, or Foshan's Clubhouse Gym is our Facebook page.
Okay.
But Crown Mountain Strongman will show everything.
Okay. And then for Mason, is this your first one that you did?
It was actually my second. I competed at the Arnold Classic earlier this year. That was my first event. I've only been training not even a year.
Wow.
So I started this journey last September, and come a long way.
So for those of you that don't know Mason, you're a double amputee below the knee, am I right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm a bilateral below the knee. I've been on my right side coming up on 4 years, and on my left side about a year and a half.
Okay, so I'm quite sure everybody's going to want me to ask this question. So what happened, Mason?
So I was actually born with severe bilateral club foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deformity of the lower limbs. So basically, when I was born, my feet, instead of the soles of my feet being on left, would be on the ground. This turned forward, and then from my arch, my toe was turned up. So it kind of resembles a horseshoe. And so I was put in cast at 2 days old, and I wore those for 2 years while they did the serial casting to straighten my feet. And then I've had more surgeries than I care to remember.
Yeah.
And finally, it was a quality of life thing to where every day was pain, and I had gotten up to about 310 pounds and was completely miserable. And it got to the point where my ankles were literally disintegrating.
Wow. So what got you into the gym or into weights?
So I've always loved working out. But last September, I went to a adaptive athletes clinic at a local gym here in Utah called Big Mountain Barbell that was put on by Team Black Sheep and Honor Thread. And they go around the country essentially either competing in different events, and they also teach other trainers how to train adaptive athletes.
Okay.
One of the individuals that was teaching the event, he's a single leg, a unilateral amputee below the knee, and he's still actually an active duty soldier and Paralympian on the U.S. Paralympic shooting team. His name's Sean Titchener.
Mm-hmm.
And during that clinic, it just kind of clicked for me. And I had the amazing opportunity to meet Leslie Hoffman, who is a 2016-2017 World Strongest Woman in the lightweight division. And one of her sons was actually born with one of the problems that he was born with was the same thing I have. And so I really connected with Leslie, and I kind of was like, I don't know if that's something I can do. And she pretty much said, bullshit, yeah, you can. And massive support from her and Team Black Sheep. And I'm actually now a member of Team Black Sheep. So it's been a pretty wild ride over the last year.
Yeah, it sounds, man, I know so many people that tune into the show, and the different people that I see in the social media sites that I'm in, they all have their own struggles. They all have their different stories of what happened to them. And I always like to try and bring them people who have, we've all had our own story. We've all had our own struggle, but it's how you get up from that. I think that's what makes,
right.
That's what makes you. It's like when you have something happen to you, how do you come back from that? How do you get back to living? How do you get back up and go back at life? And I think that's an awesome story. So for you at this event, what was probably one of the toughest things that you had to do?
The axle press. I've been fighting a rotator cuff injury for a while, and John, who was the other competitor in the seated division, he actually holds the record for a overhead log press.
Mm-hmm.
So he absolutely annihilated me on the axle press. Every other event was super close. I actually won 2 of the 5 events. John won the other 3, and everything was within a couple seconds or a couple reps of each other. It was so close. It was just absolutely amazing. And even though we both compete in seated, we wanted to go head to head as much as we could, and they accommodated that for us. And in doing so, we did the standing Hercules hold instead of doing it seated, because we wanted to do it side by side.
Yeah.
And then same with the sled pull and Um, and we actually, one of the original events for us was going to be a sandbag toss, but because we both can actually do standing deadlifts, we decided, you know what, it's strongman, why not? And so we did 225-pound axle deadlift for reps.
Oh,
And it was pretty amazing because the judge giving me the up and down command was Brian Shaw, the 4-time world's strongest man, and then Casey Mitchell was giving John the up and down command. So I mean, it was kind of a surreal experience to be able to do that in front of these guys that are, you know, just absolutely amazing at what they do.
yeah, it's pretty. I'm looking at some of the pictures, and I tell you that log you're talking about. No way. That thing is. You did that with one arm.
The the Hercules hold.
Yeah, the log where you press it. I'm looking at you've got a log you're pressing up like a shoulder press with a log. Oof.
Oh, that's okay. So it looks like probably that's on. That was an earlier event this year in May.
Right.
It was probably Chris Vacchio's,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, the little stubby log.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't at that one. Those are crazy.
Yeah, and just seeing some of the.
Can I just say,
Go ahead.
you guys, John, Mason, were 1 point off for first place. I mean, Mason, you were 7 and John was 8, so it was crazy close.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was amazing, and it was the fact that he could press that thing like nobody's business.
Yeah, just looking at some of this, it's just, man, bringing back nightmares. I'd see the big tire and some of the stones. I mean, what do you?
Next year we'll have new, creative, really cool events.
I'm quite sure Mason likes hearing that. we have some new torture for you, Mason, next year.
You know, I'm up for it. You know, it's always, you always want to test yourself.
Yeah.
And to defy a lot of the expectations people have. You know, that's one of the amazing things, is being able to show people that, you know what, your life's not over. You can still do so many things. You just have to put your mind to it and you have to want it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can totally relate with that. I got one of our patients, Dave Gannis, has got me doing the Spartan races, and went to see him do a couple. And next thing I know, he's got me training, and I've got 2 down, and he suckered me into doing another race where we're going to do back-to-back races, a sprint and a super. And at 52, let me tell you, those are, it's a fun time. It's a fun time out there, but it is awesome to be able to, when you're done and you complete what you've done, to sit back and just realize what you've just done. And I think that's the part that's pretty awesome about it, is knowing that, you know, you have, you know, a prosthetic on, but you're still out here doing things that most people probably didn't even think amputees could do, but yet here you are and you're doing it.
Yeah, I'll meet a lot of people that'll say, you know, oh, I could never do that. Have you tried?
Yeah.
That's, you know.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep. I'm sorry. You can make it adaptable to anybody.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing, being that you guys have done that. And I see, just from looking at some of the athletes and seeing some of the video clips on YouTube, just seeing how you guys were out there doing everything, I think that's amazing. And I think I think it's awesome. And I think it's an inspiration. That's why I really wanted to have you guys on the show, so we can talk about these things, so people know that there's people like yourselves out there, you know, from people who are putting together an actual event like this, that people probably didn't even know these events existed. And then there's people who actually, 36 of them, that are out there that want to compete and train for this. And I think that's what most people don't get, is the training aspect of it. Your training sometimes is harder than the event itself. So
that's right.
Yeah. So knowing what you go through training wise to get yourself ready for that, that's a whole nother thing that, you know, deserves applause, and just shows me that yeah, you're just an awesome guy, man. I'm proud to have you on the show, and hopefully we'll get to chat more and you'll keep me informed with all the things you do. Do you have anything else coming up?
I've signed up for there's an online CrossFit competition that I signed up for. It's called Wadapalooza, and more so to see where I stack up against them, because Team Black Sheep does compete in CrossFit events. Okay. We did the Frontline Throwdown earlier this year, and I'm just used to picking heavy things up and putting them down, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. And when you have to run and scale a wall and do that 6 times and then do burpees and different, it's a whole different ball game.
Oh yes,
than just picking up a 250-pound Atlas stone and throwing it on a barrel. It's a completely different thing, and I want to be more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I'm doing that. I was able to qualify for events next year, so I'm going to be focusing a lot of my training on that, and I'm actually going to be doing next year. I'm going to be doing a Spartan sprint as well.
Where are you doing that at? Where are you going to do that at?
I'm not sure exactly. It's going to be here in Utah, probably up near Park City. Okay. Sometime next year. I've got a friend that can kind of convince me to do it. So I'm totally up for it. I want to go all these challenges, stuff that I could never do before, just because of the amount of pain that I was always in. Yeah. And so it's opened up this whole new thing. And I did want to mention too that even though we didn't have any women adaptive athletes at the Crown Mountain Strongman, there are women strongmen or strong women that compete in the adaptive divisions as well, both sitting and standing. And there are some amazing women that do it. And
that's awesome.
So it's not just for the guys. It's the women can do it too. And some of the stuff that they do blows me away.
Yeah, that's awesome. And go ahead.
We had I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We had 2 that were supposed to be out here, and Dana, one of them, who is actually, I believe, from Utah.
I know she's
fire. Yeah.
She's from Tennessee, I believe.
Okay, is that where it was? And they lost their helmet of fire. She literally lost everything.
Oh man.
And couldn't go to travel abroad for her competition. It was going to come to us, and some other things that happened that didn't work out. So things just keep happening, and all my prayers go out to them and their loss. But she's a strong girl, and we'll see her at the Arnold, and we will have more of them. Given that we're a level 1 competition, it's open to novice and people that haven't trained like they think they might have or should have. Mm-hmm. But the women are amazing out there, and you're right, Mason, they are.
No, that'd be awesome. See, and Mason, if you're going to do that Spartan, keep me in the loop on that. You never know, we might come out and join you.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, the burpees are your friend, man. They always tell you burpees are your friend. So.
And John, maybe you'll come out here for our event next August.
That's hey, that's why I want you guys to keep me in the loop of everything you're doing and what's going on, because you never know, there might be a live broadcast from there. So come out and do things like that. So I am just, man, I'm just blown away. One, Mason, of who you are, what you've been through, what you're doing. And I really hope that people understand the training aspect. I mean, give people an example. What's your training like?
So, I mean, I'll just, like today, for example, was a pretty heavy back day. And so I was doing, low rows up to about 100 pounds per arm, or as many reps as I could. Then I'd go up to doing lat pull downs at 240 pounds, trying to get, increase my back strength. Mm-hmm. But everything that, like, I don't do bench press, I don't do curls, I don't do a lot of the weightlifting that you normally see in the gym because it doesn't really benefit my strongman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do, if I'm going to do something that I want to build my biceps up, I'm going to do pull-ups, or I'm going to do farmer carries, or even just farmer holds with, 100, 120 pound dumbbells, and hold them as long as you can until your arms are burning, and then I'll do tire flips and dragging sleds, and it's kind of a different animal than a lot of people that'll lift. They'll go for hypertrophy, which is the bodybuilding. You want to get cut, and you want to have all the pretty muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And while yes, they are extremely strong, that's not my focus.
Mm-hmm.
My focus is, I need to build a strong back, strong shoulders, and really need that strong strength. Right now, my current back without straps on the deadlift is 622 pounds.
Wow.
And that's just with my grip strength in a seated deadlift.
Wow.
And I was actually able to do that at a charity event about a month ago for the Prodigal Foundation. And it was a pledge by the pound, and all of the proceeds went to help people with mental illness and addiction to get treatment.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, and so and we had to do it raw, which means no straps.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, right now my raw seated deadlift is 622. But in the competition, we did the axle, which is about a 3-inch diameter bar, and so it's essentially gripping a soda can.
Wow.
And so you have to kind of use straps on that one because you can't get your hands all the way around it.
Yeah.
But it totally changes the dynamic of the lift when you can't grip on something as tight as you would a regular barbell.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to work on a lot of that kind of stuff. We'll do static holds for time. So we'll hold a weight as long as we can. When we were at the Arnold, we did 150-pound kettlebells in each hand, and we had to hold them as long as we could.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that doesn't tell people, hey, you can definitely get off the couch and go for a walk.
Right.
Mason's out here, deadlifting 622 pounds. And it is so true, because when I go to the gym and work out, because I'm training for a Spartan, my training pretty much changed up. Now I'm running all over the gym like a madman, and people are looking at me like, well, why is this guy like, he's on the treadmill, then he's going hanging from the pull-ups bar, and he's over here doing, leg lifts, and I'm like, dude, I'm training for a Spartan. I'm like, well, what's that like? And I'm like, oh, you have no clue. So you do have to change the way you train. But I think the most impressive thing is when people see someone with an amputation doing something like this with a purpose. And when you work out with a purpose as an amputee, people can't help but sit up and take notice, because it's not the norm. And when they see something like that, they want to ask questions. And I think that's a good opportunity to educate people and help them understand what it's all about. So
it is, and and that's, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. That's one of the things that I hear a lot from amputees is they don't want to go in the gym because everyone's going to stare at them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with people that are obese. They don't want to go in the gym because people are going to stare at them. So the hardest thing is just walking through that front door.
Yeah.
And once you do, you just get to work, and that's the big thing, is you just got to get to work and not worry about it. And yeah, you'll get a lot of people coming up to you, and as long as it's not in the middle of a set, I am totally willing to talk to people. My local gym now is pretty much that, everyone's used to me there. Mm-hmm. So all of the stares and stuff have pretty much stopped. But we're actually part of Team Black Sheep. What we're doing is opening a adaptive training facility in Salt Lake.
Okay.
And what it's going to be is it's actually going to focus on active duty, veterans, law enforcement, fire, EMS, any first response, and then adaptive civilians.
Okay.
And so everything in there is like, I've taken my wheelchair all through the entire setup to make sure that I can get everywhere. And we have everything from me to my disabled strongman training seated or standing. And, we've got all of the functional fitness stuff there. And we really want to focus on helping these people get their life back.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Because really that's part of, that's a big part where that I see a lot of people is they don't really know, they kind of feel lost.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose anymore? I was a paramedic for almost 15 years. And it's like, okay, when that was over, that was almost my, at that point, that was my entire adult life, was being a paramedic.
Wow.
And then when you found not fit for duty, it's kind of a pretty big blow.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's my purpose anymore? And I've really found that with Strongman, and it's been amazing. And at the Crown Mountain event, the crowds were just, everyone's just cheering for you, and it's pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna turn you on to some friends of mine at Operation Enduring Warrior and Task Force Sentinel. They are working with law enforcement and veterans. They actually assist them through the Spartan races. So they'll have a whole team of guys that are masked up, and they assist these veterans. And they just started doing it for law enforcement. So I'm gonna make sure I pass your details on to them. So if you guys get that gym started, maybe they'll come out and help you with some type of opener or grand opening, because
awesome.
they just did one at West Point for Spartan, and they had law enforcement there, guys who had been injured on the job, and they were getting them back out and getting them moving and exercising, and had them go through this whole event with them. So I'll definitely turn you on to them, because it sounds like you guys are a perfect match for each other. And that's one of the things where for doing this show, when I meet different people, I hear what's going on, and I try and put everybody in touch with each other, because I think that's another thing, is just everybody knowing what everybody's doing and seeing how we can all come together and help people, like what we're talking about, people that are scared to go to the gym because they're an amputee, or people that have been hurt, veterans or law enforcement officers, firefighters or paramedics. They want to do something, but they don't know how or what's out there for them. So, and putting them in contact with other people like yourself, I think that's just awesome. And also letting them know that there's people out there putting together events like this, that maybe somebody has aspirations to be a strong man and wants to know, hey, what do I have to do in order actually any competitions that I can do stuff with? So, Joey, I think that would be awesome.
Can I throw my 2 cents in? We would love to come out there and maybe we do something with you and help somehow and bring equipment and put on an event.
That'd be awesome.
Our Crown Mountain Strongman event fundraised for a group called Challenge America. And they were a part of Challenge Aspen for many years. And now what they do is they help servicemen and veterans and their families adapt within communities. And so this is a big veteran push for us and for this event for all the years to come. But Challenge America could come out as well and help, in any way that we can.
Well, I'll definitely.
So I'd love to do whatever we can as well, because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I will be putting you guys in touch for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and
and one thing too that I'm extremely grateful for Joelle and her husband is that they took a chance on us on the adaptive athletes. And not a lot of shows do that. There are a few around the country that do it. There's one coming up in November in West Virginia that's going to have adaptive divisions. And then Chris Baccio, he's kind of the guy when it comes to adaptive strongman in the United States.
Yeah.
But there's only a handful of shows every year that have adaptive divisions, and it was so great to see how excited Joelle and her husband were to have us out there, and to have us competing right alongside with the regular or non-adaptive athletes. Instead of putting us off to the side, kind of like the kids table, we were right there in the same exact spot that everyone else was competing.
And that's awesome. That's very.
It was beautiful, and that's why we did it.
I had a guy on my show by the name of Ronald Mann. He's a veteran, below the knee amputee. He is a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, and he goes against able-bodied guys. And let me tell you, when he latches onto them, it's a wrap.
Oh.
It is a wrap, man. So
Awesome.
it's awesome to see the different people that are doing things. I had Shahali Ayers on my show. She's the first amputee model to walk the runway in New York with a prosthetic and without a prosthetic. So I've tried to incorporate people in this show that are doing amazing things from this standpoint, in our community, that, we want to show people that they can get out. And that's one of the things I wanted to say, Mason, when we're talking about the gym. I try to say to every amputee, when you get in there and you start working out and you go, don't be surprised that you are now going to be a source of motivation for somebody else who is at the gym or who has had doubts that they should come. They'll see you and you just help that person understand that, wow, you know what? I can do this and I am going to do this. I get that a lot from people coming up to me in the gym and just saying that one thing that, seeing you in the gym makes me want to come to the gym more. So I try, it's something to where we got to encourage people that, are dealing with amputations or prosthetics or some type of disability to get out there and get back into life, integrate yourself back into life, because you'll never know who you might motivate, or inspire. So it's one of those things that I think that's what they don't think about.
With that, I'd love to promote a friend of mine, Sydney Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bilateral below the knee amputee as well. He was born with a Charcot-Marie tooth. And like me, after a lifetime of pain, he just decided he'd had enough. They actually, Flower, the company that he gets his feet through, they actually just did a documentary on him called 3 Sons and a King.
Wow.
And it's on YouTube. So he's from Vernal, Utah, which is out, near the Uintas, some of the best hiking and fishing you'll ever see. And was never really able to go and do that with his dad and his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that he's a bilateral amputee, him and his dad and his son went to Kings Peak, which is the highest peak in Utah.
Wow.
And they did a whole documentary on it.
That's awesome.
And so I think he'd be amazing, for you to have on your show as well, because he's also on the IHC triathlon team here in Utah. He's training for his first full Ironman. He's done several half Ironmans. And I mean, his endurance puts me to shame. Like it's definitely different. I mean, I tell people I only run if I'm on fire, if I'm being chased.
Say if a T-Rex is after me.
Exactly. Yeah. I just like to pick heavy things up. Yeah. And but Sydney, he shows, he does the swimming and the biking and the running, and he's hiking up in the mountains all the time like a mountain goat, and so
that's awesome.
Just pretty amazing, some of the stuff that people can do when they want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure you we're in a message, you have my page. Just send me his details and I'll definitely call him and try and get him on the show. And like I said, for the people that I know at Pure Form Fitness and Operation Enduring Warrior and Task Force Sentinel, I'm going to be putting you guys in touch with them, because I think there's something there that you all could come together and do something, because you're all working with veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, guys like that have been hurt or injured and want to get out there and, do stuff. And they want to get off the couch and they want to be back into the, lifestyle that they were doing before, but they just don't know how. And I think the things that we're all doing is trying to help people understand how to do that. And that's great. So
absolutely.
It's beyond anything. I mean, just so y'all know. Presses us all beyond anything.
Yeah, and this is
proud.
Part of the reason I wanted to have you guys on the show is to put that message out there to the viewers and share this in all the social media sites that I'm in, because I want people to know who Mason Hall is, and I want people to know about the event that went off in Colorado, and I want people to understand that there's things out there and people that we can follow and turn on to other people, because I think a lot of times showing people, hey, look at this. Did you know this guy was doing this? And they're like, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And because when people hear I run a Spartan, they're like, what? Why do you do that? I'm like, it's fun. I'm like, but you don't have a foot. I'm like, what does that got to do with it? I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? So it's always amazing seeing people's response to amputees that are definitely getting up and getting out there and not, just giving up. I think that's the biggest thing. Is just, I don't want people to give up because you've lost a limb.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much life
Right.
out there to be lived. I mean, so much. So I want to
You
thank.
all are
Go ahead.
extremely motivating.
Oh no,
So
hey,
many.
we people like you help us do that, because like Mason said, you put them front and center in an event in an arena to where most people wouldn't. And I think that's the thing with I heard that from Ronald. I heard that from Shahali Ayers, who, when she wanted to be a model, there were people that told her nobody wanted to see that and sent her packing. And for Ronald, when he lost his limb and he went to go back into the first dojo, people were telling him, no, you need to get out of here before you get hurt. That's what I'm talking about, is that people look at you and they think that you can't do these things. And we have to show them that, what are you talking about? I can't do this. And now here he is, a world champion jiu-jitsu champion. And Shahali is one of the top models out there doing stuff on the runway, magazines. It's awesome to hear stories like that, to where people look at you and think that you can't do this, or you're going to get hurt. You might want to not come and try this. And then to see amputees out there holding their own, I think that's just an awesome thing to see. And that's what I want to showcase.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that, and that kind of goes back to the clinic that I went to last September. One of the guys that was teaching it, he's a wounded veteran, pretty much in a wheelchair almost all the time, and he's a level 2 CrossFit coach.
wow.
He'd actually gone into big box gyms, and they told him, well, you need a doctor's note for us to let you come work out here.
Oh my goodness.
Like they're like saying, you're going to be too much of a liability for us to allow you to come and work out here.
That's crazy. That is just, but that it's like I say this, Mason, I have a lot of patients because I work with a prosthetic company here in the Central Valley, and I work with patients, and I have patients that are ex-law enforcement, people from all different walks. The biggest thing I try and tell my patients when they're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What do I do now? I always say to them, look at it this way. People are going to look at you. People are going to want to know what's going on. You're now an ambassador for amputees. It's you can go out and educate people now on what amputation disability is all about. We are still people that can do a lot of things. I just met a guy who we're going to be doing his leg. He lost his leg, and he was one of the first railroadmen to work on the railroad system as an above knee amputee. And he showed me pictures of just him being back in the old days, jumping on and off a train, running up, hitting the switches, jumping back on a moving train, jumping back onto the train. And I was just like, wow. But his job told him he couldn't do it. So they forced him to retire. And he found out that they couldn't do that. They had to take him back. And he went back and worked for like another 20, 30 years. Pretty awesome. So it's amazing what people can do. And it's amazing how, when we really put our minds to it, how we can go out there and educate the world on who we are, what we're about, and what we can do. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So I want to thank both of you for being on the show. I really appreciated this chat. I know everybody in the Facebook world that is hearing this, and everybody that's going to tune into our podcast, they're all going to really appreciate this, appreciate the story, and everything that was said tonight. Mason, where can people see more of you and get in touch with you?
So I do almost all of my strongman stuff. I have my Instagram. It's Mason Hall _adaptive_strongman. And that's pretty much any of my strength stuff is all going to be on that. That's going to be the easiest way to see, what I'm doing and kind of where I'm going from there and stuff.
Okay, I think I see that on my, I'm on Google right now. So I'm going to do you a favor, paste that into this live video feed of the show so people know where to get in touch with you.
Cool.
So that's done for you. And Jolie, for
Joelle.
you. Joelle, sorry. See, I told you I was going to get you tonight. I told you.
I know. You did good.
And for you, I think you have, is this your site here that they have up here, the Crown Mountain Strongman Benefit Challenge America?
Well, it's crownmountainstrongman.com.
Okay.
And we set it up to benefit Challenge America.
Okay.
We also have, our site is on Facebook, and it's Foshin's Clubhouse Gym.
Okay.
So we'll be running everything through Foshin's Clubhouse Gym for the next event,
Okay.
which will again go to Strongman, Crown Mountain Strongman.
Okay.
So
And
we'll
send
keep
me
everything
that.
updated,
Yeah.
Crown Mountain Strongman.
Yeah, send me all that
Yeah.
so I can make sure everybody knows where to get in touch with you guys so we can see all these awesome things that you're out there doing. And hopefully I can get out to some of these events that you're doing. And Mason, if we can, I want to come join you for that sprint that you're going to do.
That'd be awesome.
You come compete.
What was that?
Come compete. You're doing Spartan. You can do Strongman novice. Come on.
I can do strong. How much does that tire weigh? I'm looking at that tire, and that tire looks pretty scary, man.
Oh, the tire.
That tire looks pretty scary.
300.
Yeah, the
300?
tires vary though. Yeah, around 300 usually in competition.
Okay.
The sled pull we did was 300 pounds.
Okay.
The deadlift we did was 225. The stones, I don't remember all the weights, but the heaviest one was 250, which is more than my body weight.
Yeah, 285 was the
Wow.
Oh, it was 285. Okay. Well, then it's heavier than I thought it was.
He's like, oh, okay.
You did so good.
Nice little surprise there, huh?
Yeah. I had another 50 pounds on there.
Oh, I tell you. Well, it's been great having you guys on. And I'll tell you, I will stay in touch. You guys stay in touch. And if you have anything going on, please send it over to me so I can put it up on our Facebook page and our website, especially if you have anything that I can help you with promoting it or putting the word out there for you. And if you need to be back on the show, you definitely get in touch with me and I'll have you back on the show to talk about whatever you need.
Thank you. Good talking with you, Mason.
Yeah, you too.
Well, thanks guys for putting up with me on Skype here, and I'm going to let you guys go and I'm going to finish off the show. Thanks again for both of you taking the time to be on the show.
Have a good night.
You guys have a good evening.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
So everybody, that was an awesome show. I really enjoyed having both of them on, and they are, man, some awesome people doing awesome things out there. And I hope that you that are listening to the show, you got to see what amputees are out there doing. There's some amputees doing, there's amputees doing some amazing things out here. And I'm looking for other amputees to have on the show that are doing amazing things. So if you know of someone or an event or anything like that, please reach out to me so that we can share these stories. We can share what people are doing out there that are adaptive athletes or just normal amputees that are out there just holding it down for the amputee community. I'd like to know, because I want to have you be a part of Amp Life Talk Radio. And I can't thank all of you out there in Facebook land for tuning in for another show. All of you out there on Spreaker and iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, man, our new page up there. I can't thank you guys all enough for tuning in, making this a show that hopefully all of you like and that you are getting something from. I try to bring you the best, and I try to bring you stuff that is intriguing and interesting. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in to another episode of Amp Life Talk Radio. Make sure you go share this show, like this show, spread the word about the show so that we can get more and more people in tune with this show as we try to do peer counseling, amputee peer support on a level to where we reach out to you into your home and you don't ever have to go anywhere. And we're going to bring you information, education, and great stories of other amputees that are out there doing amazing and wonderful things. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Amp Life Talk Radio.
You are listening to Sean Harrison on Amp Life Talk Radio, a place for amputees and those dealing with limb loss. The views expressed on the show by the host, co-hosts, and guests are their own. Always seek medical advice from a licensed medical professional.